Good morning. My name is Jennifer Kavanaugh, and welcome to Between Worlds. Today is April 1st, 2021. April Fool's Day, although I don't think anybody's playing any jokes today because I think the joke is all on us the past year or so. This morning I woke up thinking a lot about reality and what there is to say about reality and how we create our own realities. I had another crazy night in the dreamscape. Is some kind of government government office buildings back in these political realms that I've tried to stay away from most of my life, in some pretty big physical battles, you could say, with some warlocks and some witches and some pretty scary people. But what was interesting, I'm not going to bore you with the details on that, was once the battle was done, it was like there was this intention to lock me up, to throw me in jail, to put me somewhere forever. And and somehow I just knew it wasn't going to work. I just knew it wasn't going to work. No matter what happened, those chains were going to be broken. And at the very end of the dream, I was in front of this booth, like, when you go into any kind of public place and you have to pay, and now there's all even before there was the window where you exchange your cash. There was all these windows, and I was going to every single booth and I was unlocking it. And there was people inside, and I had to find the right key. And there was one that was really tricky, but I went back and I found that right key and I unlocked every single one. And I think there's some big messages in that dream, because I laid awake for a little while saying, okay, what do you want me to get out of this? What's the purpose of this one? And one is that, and I'm going to repeat this because I said this last year, perhaps even around this time, that the fear that is created by the illusions that we're seeing and that we are playing out is far worse than what the actual reality is. And again and again, I keep hearing, whether you want to call it a download or higher self or naivety or whatever you believe, I keep hearing that we really need to get a good check on what our reality is and that it's not as bad as it seems. And I woke up this morning thinking about that old saying, right? If a tree falls in the forest and nobody hears it, does it really happen? Did it really happen? Did it make a sound? Right? And when we look at our understanding of quantum physics, a lot of our understanding of quantum is that by by observing something, we change that reality. Or it's even possible that it's our observation that brings it into reality. And so when we look at everything that's happening around the world, I can't help but wonder how much we are creating it simply by giving our attention to it. And having taken the last month or so, and I've really tried to stay away from media. So as you know, I'm not on a lot of the social media streams. I'm definitely not on Facebook. I don't have cable TV, so I don't see any of the regular news. I'm not on Twitter anymore. That was where I used to see a lot of the news, so I'm not seeing it there. And the few channels that I am on, I'm just not interested in it anymore. I'm just not interested in it. It's kind of boring to me because I'm like, I've heard this story a few times now. So what's been interesting over the past couple weeks of not being on the news is I've noticed a few things. It's been a fun little experiment with reality, right? And the one thing that I noticed right off the hop, and this, the first one that I actually got rid of, was TV many, many years ago. But the most recent one that I got rid of was Facebook last year. And what I noticed immediately, upon deleting my account, is that there had been this huge energy drain by being on that platform. And so we can talk about it, like there's the mental health side and the physical side and all the stuff we already know about in terms of our, you could say, addiction to technology. But the subtle energy side was very fascinating to see how much that platform was draining me of life force, not only when I was on it, but also when I wasn't on it. So just the mere act of having an account, it was almost like there was, if you're familiar with the term of energy cording with other people, it was like there was an energetic cord to this particular platform. So even when I wasn't on it, my energy was being drained from it. And so, what I've noticed by slowly moving off all of these different platforms, TV, radio, all those things, like literally, I don't even listen to the radio anymore. Silence is good, the birds are good. Is that there's this energy drain, both when it's on, but also when it's turned off. Okay. And for those of you who have done a little digging into how our technology works, on the theoretical side of things, we'll say, that that's completely plausible. So if we are losing life force while we are partaking in some of these news sources, we'll say, or platforms, we could say, why? That's always my big question. Why would that be happening? And having been off it for a little while, I've had this opportunity to also reflect on, if I'm on here, what is my focus? And I noticed when I was really sucked into the news, it almost put you in like a frozen holding pattern, right? Of, okay, something might be happening this week, so I need to pay attention and I need to be checking the news all the time in case something happens this week, right? Because I need to know right away. And I need to know how I'm going to respond, and I need to prepare and so forth. And it puts you in this perpetual frozen state of waiting, of anticipation. And during that period of anticipation, all of our life force, all of our creative force is going into that thought pattern of what's going to happen, and all of our emotions around what may happen, what we want to happen, what we don't want to happen. And we are literally feeding the creation of that reality. And so if we're doing that, what aren't we doing? And what aren't we doing is what's leading to this feeling of stuckness that so many of us are describing these days, right? I want to move to a new part of the world. I want to create something new. I want to go out and travel. I want to build a new business. I want to do all these things, but I feel stuck. Why do I feel stuck? Well, part of it, I believe, this is just my theory. I can't really prove it, because how can we prove most of this stuff? Um, is that our energy is going into what we don't want, as opposed to what we do want to create. So when we're distracted by what might be coming up, what big announcement may be coming, what new event may happen, what big surprise may happen over the next couple days, we are distracted from what we came here to do. We are distracted from pouring energy into whatever it is we want to create, whether it's a garden or a relationship or a travel experience or a business, it doesn't matter. But that creative force is being taken from us. And we are voluntarily doing it when we engage in it. This is the loophole to the law of free will, because the law of free will to me is a very sacred law in the universe, and that means that we have the free will to choose, and we have the free will to create what we want to create. But if we are not aware and discerning with our energy, we end up creating for other people, and we end up creating scenarios that we actually don't want. And so what's the solution? Is, first of all, we need to notice where our energy is leaking, and notice how we feel after we participate in certain things, or we're around certain conversations, or we are using certain platforms. Notice how you feel, right? Because it's quite common, and you can observe this in other people sometimes easier than you can in yourself. And that's a great first step, right? If you have children, notice how your children behave. Notice where their emotions go after they watch television show. Even seemingly positive television shows, you will see a decline in their mood afterwards. I mean, the pattern is very apparent once you have an awareness of it, in that they may be watching a happy television show, and then once it's off, there's anger, there's temper tantrums, there's all kinds of stuff. And once you see that pattern in them, then you have to start to do the painful work of noticing that pattern in yourself, right? After I've been scrolling, do I tend to have a shorter fuse? Do I tend to be more irritated? Does my mood tend to drop? If it does, that's a good indicator for us that there's an energy drain, there's an energy drain there, right? And perhaps we're creating a reality that we don't want. Because if we go back to this question, if a tree falls and nobody hears it, did it make a sound? I don't know. Maybe it did, but maybe not in our reality. It's not even registered in our reality as an event that happened. So I can't help but wonder, if we didn't have the news, how would our reality be different? If we didn't hear about all these things going on, would they exist in our reality? And if we weren't being distracted by them, what is it that we would be creating in the world? So I just want to leave you with this little tidbit, especially for all of the Canadians out there as we head into, especially the Ontarians, as we head into this Easter weekend, of if you don't see it, if you don't hear it, how does your reality different? And if you suddenly become the master of your reality, if you are now at the helm of your world, of your reality, what is it that you want to create? You know, when you first wake up in the morning, what do I want to do today? What kind of world do I want to live in? And maybe we need to pull back from this big picture and this belief system, or perhaps even a program that we all need to save the world, and maybe we just need to save our own backyard for a moment, our own household, our own mind for a moment, and create a day for yourself where you define the reality, where it is exactly what you want to be, and turn off those phones, turn off all the electronics, and notice how different your day is. Because I can tell you, having lived this the past few weeks, the world is beautiful and peaceful, and the birds are chirping, and the forest is begging to burst into spring. There is life and creativity oozing out of Mother Earth herself right now. And if you step into that, I mean, that's a much better story to be swept away in. It's definitely the one that I want to be a part of. So I hope you have all a beautiful weekend, and I will see you. I will see you all soon. Have a great day.